Das bin ich.
This is me 10 years ago, when I had to leave my homeland, Syria. I lived through the war and as a journalist filmed the atrocities.
We're trapped. There are bombs and planes. Everything is destroyed.
Das bin ich heute.
This is me today. Like hundreds of thousands of other Syrians, I found refuge in Germany. And in 2015, I felt welcomed here. I didn't plan to stay for long, but the war just went on and on. My family has since joined me in Germany, and I'm working as a journalist again. Then something happened in December 2024.
Syrien steht vor einem neuen Kapitel seiner Geschichte nach 13 Jahren Bürgerkrieg. Der langjährige Machthaber Assad ist geflohen.
What does this mean for Syrians in Germany? For some politicians, the answer is clear.
With the civil war largely over, those people who came to Germany from Syria can now return to their homeland and help to rebuild their country.
While many Syrians like myself are still unsure whether there really will be a lasting peace back home, politicians here are already talking about how quickly we should be returning there. Are we still welcome in Germany, or is it time to leave? I'm Sulaiman Tadmory, a journalist at Norddeutscher Rundfunk, and I'm on my way to see my mum. We both fled Syria and are now living in Hamburg. When the sun's shining, she'll often call me and say, "My son, take me to the harbour." I now have a German passport too. A lot has changed for us in recent months. The dictator al-Assad was overthrown, and Germany is debating whether we Syrians should now be going back. What does that mean for me and for my mum and the million or so Syrians here? You happy in Hamburg?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, honestly, since I've learned how to get everywhere and do things for myself.
Are there moments where you miss Syria?
No. Because we left Syria in a state of fear and under rocket fire. We were constantly afraid, all the time.
So no good memories.
I have very bad memories of Syria. I experienced a lot. Seeing dead people on the street. The army raided our home. We were terrified.
But would you go back, now that Assad is gone?
No, my sons are here and my brothers too. What would I do there on my own?
My
mother does not want to go back, like most Syrians in Germany apparently. A survey conducted shortly after the dictator's fall showed that 66% of them want to remain in Germany. And how safe would it even be to return? Many parts of the country seem safe. But there has been violent conflict since the regime change, especially in regions home to substantial minority populations. Not everybody seems to be equally safe.
Berlin.
She'll be here in a minute.
Das ist Leen.
This is Leen. She grew up in Germany. She was 12 when her family fled Syria. What do these new developments mean for her? We both like to work out, so we're meeting at a gym. Where do you think you'll feel more comfortable? What do you think?
Realistically speaking, here.
Okay, and why not Syria?
I don't know Syria that well, or even myself in Syria. I might have been a completely different person if I'd grown up there. I don't want to go to Syria and be constantly worrying about people judging me. by the way I talk, how I dress, or how I behave among friends. And that's impossible to assess right now.
How about returning to Syria in a year when things calm down?
To visit, sure, but not to stay.
So you'll stay here?
Yes.
And how do you feel about political developments in Germany?
Not ideal either. But right now I know this country better than my own country.
The political situation in Germany isn't ideal. What's changed? There have been some shocking acts of violence here recently, in Mannheim, Solingen and Aschaffenburg, committed by Afghans and Syrians, and they're being used to define all of us. And suddenly, since the fall of Assad, while Syrians were still reeling between joy, fear, and lots of uncertainty, some politicians were already making concrete plans.
For anyone who wants to go back to Syria, how about the government organize charter flights and give them €1,000 to get started?
We need to consider options for greater repatriation of Syrians to their homeland.
For the many people who don't want to integrate, we need to say very clearly, you have no place in Germany in the long term and must leave.
Which to me means getting as many Syrians as possible out of Germany. But who do they mean exactly? Just those they claim are poorly integrated? I asked politicians from the Christian Democratic Union on election night. With Assad now gone, people have been saying that Syrians should go back home. I'm Syrian and also a German citizen. Does this mean I should go?
First of all, we took in Syrian refugees, almost 1 million, because they were fleeing from a war. If those conditions no longer apply, then the terms of the Skilled Workers Immigration Act apply. And at the end of the day, Syrians will be primarily responsible for rebuilding their country.
We look at each country individually, whether it's Afghanistan or Syria, to tell if people are able to return to their home countries. That's very important, especially, of course, with those who don't want to integrate and have committed crimes here.
Meaning that the well-integrated among us can stay? Either way, I've sensed the mood turning against us, all of us, in recent months. And what really scares me is that 20% of people in Germany voted for a party that says things like this.
The priority is remigration.
If the word is remigration, then so be it. Re-migration.
These brilliant skilled workers are now welcome to rebuild Syria.
Show your gratitude for the refuge you were granted by now leaving Germany as quickly as possible. Best regards.
The CDU have been eager to distance themselves from the far-right Alternative for Germany, or AfD, but they voted together on immigration policy in January 2025. The CDU says this: I'm a bit afraid after seeing the Christian Democrats vote with the AfD. Not sure if you can understand that.
But you do also have footage of us repeatedly ruling out a coalition with them, right?
Sure, but I'm still afraid.
Fear is an individual feeling. I'm not afraid.
Okay, that reassures me.
If you're afraid, come here and have a hug. This big guy, afraid?
I was speechless for a moment. He says my fears are unwarranted. Am I exaggerating? My next stop is the University Hospital in Münster, where I meet up with Maher. I know he's also troubled by the political situation. After fleeing Syria in 2014, he went on to qualify as a dentist here in Germany. He also conducts research and supervises students.
Hier haben wir auch eine CHKWS am 3.7.
Syrians now constitute the biggest group of foreign-born doctors in Germany, but obviously, most Syrians are not doctors. Around half of the million or so of us receive welfare benefits. Some don't work even though they could. Either they don't want to, or they can't because they haven't learned German. 71,000 of them work, but get benefits to supplement their income. Plus 165,000 children. These figures do not include people who are employed and have German citizenship, like myself and Maher.
So, Martin. Jetzt wie eine Löwe. Mund aufmachen.
Maher says he feels at home here in Germany, but he doesn't rule out returning to Syria.
Prima. Wenn Sie Fragen haben, sagen Sie Bescheid, okay?
Maher and I became friends after a meeting at a family get-together 2 years ago. Those onions are starting to look really good.
Sulaiman is hungry.
It was the same for the both of us. It has to be Germany, forever. And now there's the option of going back one day. What does that mean for you?
If things get desperate here. I recently saw a documentary about the Nazis and Hitler, and about their attempts to gain power. And I was thinking that things won't get that extreme. But people back then didn't believe things would get that extreme either. And we've now seen with Trump and the US how quickly things can change. And if that were to happen in Germany, then I'd have to flee back to Syria. And when I listen to the AfD's Alice Weidel, or sometimes Friedrich Merz, I think things might get that bad someday.
So if things stay as they are now, you'll stay.
But if they don't want me here, then I'll go.
Syria is plan B, if things get really tough here. Although, that decision would not just affect us. We've been here now for 10 years. A lot of people have more than jobs and friends. They also have children and families in Germany. Maher is planning to marry his fiancée Clara in the summer. They've been together for 7 years. On weekends, they often visit her parents in the countryside.
They went to college together. And we first met Maher here at our home with a group of her friends. And eventually we realized he wasn't just any friend.
At first we were thinking, a Muslim. We'll have to see. But the differences were surprisingly minimal. We initially had doubts.
Sure, as parents.
Of course you worry when your daughter's only 18 and...
She was 18?
Yes. But we soon realized that we had no reason to be concerned.
Maher also told us about his plan B. There is now the option of returning to Syria. Can you understand him sometimes considering such a move?
Yes, I can. But the situation in Syria is still not safe right now. And they don't have the infrastructure that would enable a normal kind of life for us. Or for Clara.
I've often asked myself whether I could imagine living in Syria. In principle, yes. Being a family person, I can't imagine being so far away from my parents. But in principle, I would consider it.
As I see things, Germany is my home too, and I'd find it very hard to leave. So that would really not be my preferred option.
I hope that, regardless of who ends up in government, we can rely on German democracy. We have a constitution here, so there are limits on what can happen, and I'm relying on that.
You have to be wary. I mean, looking back at Germany's history now, things probably happened a lot faster than many people were expecting.
Wir flohen vor Assad.
We fled from Assad, and now he's gone. But we've settled in Germany. Could I put down roots again in Syria? I lived through years of war before I fled, and filmed what I saw. This is where a friend of mine was hit by a mortar and died. The shrapnel narrowly missed me. And there was hardly any food, so we'd eat grass and leaves. After 2 years, we were forced to leave our hometown in buses. 10 years later, the same street, but coming in the other direction. I never imagined I'd ever be able to drive on it again. Just a few days after Assad was overthrown, I went back to Syria and to my hometown, Homs. A lot was destroyed. We've now arrived in Homs and are just entering the city. I've got goosebumps. During all those years away, I'd suppressed my desire to come home. I first went to our old apartment. Fortunately, our street had not been destroyed by missiles. I'm now home, up there. This is where I grew up. The apartment's empty.
Hello.
My uncle painted the walls for my arrival. Look! When I was a kid, I used to have arguments with my brother because I wanted to listen to music about 20 years ago. Back then, this thing was really trendy. I met up with my friend Abu Salah. We spent 2 years trapped in the old town of Homs together. This is the first time we've seen each other in 10 years. We survived, but a lot of our friends died in the war.
I wish they were here with us to celebrate. They only lived through the worst times of the war, when they... They died at a time that seemed hopeless.
And like Homs, large parts of Syria are now destroyed. Estimates say that reconstruction will take decades. The sense of being able to rebuild not just my homeland, but also a peaceful coexistence for everyone is a powerful one. At the same time, I've been building a new life for myself in Germany, so would I want to give all of that up? Just a few thousand Syrians have gone back. Mohammed will be joining them. Today I'm accompanying him on his last day in Dortmund, where he became a master metalworker.
Those glass railings up there, we built them, and the stainless steel handrail too, which was cool.
It feels like it's a part of you. Why do you want to just leave it behind now?
My homeland's calling. The war's now over, thank God. But we need to rebuild. And if we all stay here, it'll take 100 years.
Mohammed fled Syria in 2015, on his own at the age of 18. His family is still in Syria, but he always knew he'd go back as soon as that became possible. I can understand you at the same time. I went back to Syria for 3 weeks, and by the third week, I just wanted to come back to Hamburg. I missed the city, my life there, my friends, everything.
Sure, I'm going to miss everything here too. I'm not expecting Syria to be cool, and I know everything's destroyed.
Are you afraid you might regret your decision?
Yes, I'm afraid. Of course I am.
He's been working at this company for 5 years.
I made that. How are you, Tanya?
Good, and yourself?
Today he's saying goodbye, forever.
Nice and tidy. And this was my corner. I made so many things here. Balconies, stairs. It was a great time.
I would have waited a bit longer until things calmed down over there. What kind of residency permit do you have?
I've already handed it in.
Thursday, right?
But why? You could have just gone there for a couple of months to see how you get on.
Everyone says that, but I want to go there for good to help with the reconstruction.
Tanya is the company's accountant and helped Mohammed sort out his paperwork when he started.
He's a real ray of sunshine, always in a good mood when he arrives in the morning. I'm really sad to see him go, honestly. Really sad.
A lot of Syrians are worried about political developments in Germany.
I just feel that all this stuff about the AfD and the Christian Democrats is being blown out of proportion. I'm also an AfD supporter, but that doesn't mean I have a problem with everyone. The Germans who laze around at home annoy me just as much. I didn't have the best opinion of him initially and was thinking, well, let's see how this goes. You have to be open-minded and see how things turn out. And he did so well. Worked really hard, learned so much, and always being there, so I don't have a bad word to say about him.
After being here since 2015, he's now decided to leave Germany and give up everything here. How does that feel for you?
Syria is a beautiful country, and I think the people who came here and are going back should help to rebuild their country. Take care of yourself. If anything happens, call me. You know you can always call your friends here, right? I'm tearing up.
Come and visit Aleppo.
Of course.
A strange situation. Tanya is crying because Mohammed is leaving Germany, while at the same time voting for the AfD.
Four months ago, I never thought this day would come. No way. And now, we're on the way to Syria. Awesome.
The German government has paid for his flight and is including €1,000 in startup aid. In return, Mohammed has given up his residence permit, meaning he can't return for now. A drastic step. I'm curious to see if things work out for him. 4 months after I took Mohammed to the airport, he sent me some photos and videos from Syria. And he seems to be doing okay. He first spent a few weeks traveling across Syria on a motorbike and says he feels safe. He's currently renovating a shop space in his hometown, Aleppo, where he plans to open his own workshop.
This is my new place where I'll be making railings and other things, just like I did in Germany.
In July, Maher the dentist also contacted me. He said he was flying to Syria for 3 weeks to visit relatives. Shortly after his arrival in Damascus, Israel bombed the Syrian Ministry of Defense. Maher was close to the attack and was injured by some glass. It looks like you got hurt.
Just a bruise.
Wild.
It's all coming back, because it feels like it did back then. Everyone here was afraid yesterday that the attacks would continue, and that they'd also hit civilian sites.
Has this had an effect on your thoughts about returning to Syria?
Definitely. You're taking a couple steps forward in Syria, and now taking 10 steps back. Everything's still unstable.
Israel claims it bombed Syria to support Druze minorities in the country. Previously, there had been fierce fighting between Druze on the one side, with Bedouins and government forces on the other, with executions and many fatalities. I'm asking myself, will war ever end in Syria? Having a German passport means I can decide whether I want to live in Germany or in Syria. My mother doesn't have that choice. She only has a temporary residence permit contingent upon the reason that made her flee here. If the German government decides that Syria is permanently safe, she might have to go back.
I have nobody in Syria.
Politicians don't care about that. What do you say?
It's very difficult for me. Being alone would make me really depressed. I wish I had German citizenship.
People might wonder, if you like it in Hamburg, why haven't you learned the language?
Your father's death made me desperately sad and hit me hard psychologically. I didn't know what to do at the time, and then I came here. I wasn't doing well. I tried to learn German to get a job, but somehow I didn't have the strength anymore.
The thing is, that if they want to deport you, I'll come with you. I'm naturalized, so they couldn't really throw me out. But I won't let you go alone. You know I'll take care of you. So I'm also affected if you return to Syria.
That's difficult. You have your job here and you're happy and successful. Why do you want to go?
Because I go with you, so you're not alone. Syria's liberation from Assad has brightened up my life and restored my faith in justice. But right now, I still want to stay in Germany, even though the fear of being displaced again is always on my mind. I've settled down here, and I'm not prepared to leave everything behind a second time.